one of the best referees in the world, handling this one.
Okay, right here is okay. Anything below that's low. Right here is okay. Anything below that's low. I want a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Above all, protect yourselves at all times. Let's go.
They don't touch hands.
Freddie
56
Roach.
total wins. Go ahead, Rich, about Freddie.
Yes, Freddie Roach has taught him one thing: how to break the will of his opponents, which he has done in the last 2 fights, and certainly most impressively against Lucas Matisse, whom he forced to quit. Can he do the same with someone as skilled as Bud Crawford?
Well, again, Postol has the advantage at reach 3 inches, and Crawford's going to have to maneuver and deal with that. Crawford starts out as an orthodox fighter here right now, but even that, he's got his right shoulder forward a little bit, so you never know when he's going to switch. Their idea is to try to catch him in the switch. Crawford, of course, has his name in the front. He's got the green trunks with kind of the gold lettering and his logo down the side, and the blue and a little bit of red on his trunks is Viktor Postol. This is round number 1. Crawford again notoriously starts slow, but Postol hasn't done anything yet, nor has he been able to touch him with the jab.
Well, Postol's going to have to be patient here and stick to his game plan, which right now, as you can see, he's pursuing Terence Crawford, and he's going to have to use that jab a lot, and he'll have to go through some uncomfortable moments, certainly, because Crawford's not going to be easy to hit.
And very slick with that jab. Sorry, Christina. Very slick with that jab was Postol. He had that left hand up there, and then all of a sudden zoomed right down to the body. So it's quick-handed. Go ahead, Christina.
No, I was just going to go on to what you guys said about Freddie Roach's biggest concern in this fight with Postol and Crawford is Crawford's speed. They said that's the #1 thing we got to be careful. We got to try to catch him, and their goal is to try to bait him, feint him, catch him coming in. That's what Postol will be looking to do, looking to more counter.
Well, both of these guys can punch and counter-punch.
You know, the first time I ever did a Crawford broadcast, I didn't do those fights in Omaha, but when he won in Arlington, Texas, and he beat Thomas Delorme, and we were sitting at the apron that night and watching, I just couldn't believe how brilliant he was, how skilled he was, the nuances of boxing that he was able to pull off, the things that a lot of people just don't notice. You know, he really was good at doing those things. I mean, really wise, veteran, old-timey stuff.
Here he is switching to southpaw. For the last about 30 seconds, he's been southpaw. And he does technical things. He reminds me of a guy who you're, as a matter of fact, inducting in the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame next week, Benito Lopez. And I used to watch him. By the time I'd start explaining what he was doing something else. That's how slick he was.
And his ability to make adjustments on the fly is something that sets him apart and makes him special.
Oh, he stuck in that left uppercut there. Fighting from the southpaw stance right now. He started out orthodox, and he's been southpaw the rest of the way. With about 16 seconds going round 1. Crawford has landed more punches so far, although there have been few. Postol hasn't landed much at all except that little clinch there. Now he tries to go to work, but nothing real effective. Here we go to round 2. This is scheduled for 12. Colonel Bob Sheridan, Rich Marotta, Christina Pancha here. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you're watching around the world. This promises to be a real good fight before it's all said and done.
Postol does have that old-style stance of the Eastern European fighters. Straight up, hands held high, looking to jab to set things up.
Crawford southpaw to start this round here.
Yeah. Crawford fought half of the first round right-handed, then switched to southpaw. Now, sometimes he'll stay southpaw like this the rest of the way. He can do that. But I've noticed more and more in the last few fights that he's spending more time as a southpaw.
Well, he feels in there. He's got the feel of it. It's not a thing where they're going to give him instructions on that in the corner. He knows what's working and what feels good and what feels right in there.
Postol very willing to mix it up on the inside like he did with Matisse.
You know, it took a long time with Matisse, and he had to, you just have to be confident in your game plan. You have to keep to it. You have to walk them down and eventually feel that you're going to get there and be able to break them down.
One thing that I see here so far, though, is Postol is not, he's known for that tremendous jab. And how many times has he hit Crawford with the jab? I don't know, maybe once or twice?
I don't think he has. But
yeah, well, I was going to say that too, but I thought, he may have got him once or twice.
Well, and I think Crawford's movement and the way even when he's standing in one place, but he's moving side to side, has Postol a little bit hesitant to keep popping that jab out because he can't really catch him with it. He's just kind of pawing with it in front of his face.
Yeah, it's not like he's, even though he's coming forward, he hasn't really set up that jab by driving off that back foot, and because of Crawford's movement.
Exactly.
He's side to side, he's perpetual motion, and that's why he's such a good fighter. Takes that little side step, and you never know when he's going to come back at you right-handed, because he doesn't switch when he's on the inside. He does it when he's back outside. I read that Freddie wanted to, try to catch him in the switch. Well, I promise you, you won't catch Crawford in the switch because he does it when he's pulling back out, and he does it when he's away. Other fighters do it too close and they can get caught in the switch. The other thing we got to watch here is watching the front foot when we have the widest shot for you and see who's getting that foot to the outside now that Crawford is spending most of his time as a southpaw. There's that shot that we're looking for. Crawford, see that right foot to the outside. That means he can get his leverage with his left hand down the middle. The Postol touches him to the body with the jab, gets his combination.
That little flurry by Crawford might be enough to win him the round right there, because it's the only significant punches really that were landed in the round.
I think that's all you can say, Rich, and therefore I got to give it to Crawford. I got him.
Yeah, he took the first one, but he gave 3 licks back, right?
That's right.
And he'll keep that for a long time unless Postol at least lands some body punches to start taking those legs away.
And I think Crawford got a little bothered this week when everybody was only talking about Postol's jab. He even said, he's like, well, what about my jab? Nobody's talking about my jab. So I think part of his plan was to kind of show people I can come out here and box too.
Well, he certainly can box. There's no question about that. And so far he's up by 2, but neither round has been really significant. But he's done just enough to win the round.
I think Postol is doing a very poor job of cutting the ring on Crawford, who's been able to circle basically at will almost.
But Rich, how do you cut it off with this guy the way he moves? Because you go to your left to cut him off moving that way, he'll come back to his right. So, boy, your observation is right on the mark. Trying to execute is a different kettle of fish,
exactly.
Huh?
He may have to do something a little more unorthodox, like maybe grabbing Terence and throwing him into the corner.
That's something that frustration might set in a little bit later. Right now, not a lot of punches being landed. Is Postol trying to get in position and throw a punch, and Crawford loaded up that left hook and as he was spinning him. Actually, the southpaw style, that's the right cross, and that's his power shot from this side, but he has equal power either way. Totally ambidextrous, but he stayed, except for the first minute of the first round, he'd been southpaw the rest of the way.
Terence is starting to smile in there, which makes me think that he's beginning to enjoy and feel confident now over the way things are beginning to evolve in this fight.
Well, they're talking, I don't know what Postol's saying, and I'm sure Terence doesn't know either, because he's speaking in
Russian, right?
Right. But for the smile, he's saying something back to him anyway. Crawford has got a real cocky look on his face, doesn't he?
Well, it takes him a couple rounds usually, and by the 3rd, 4th, definitely by the 5th round, he usually is fully confident in what he's going to bring and what his game plan is going to be, although he does do a really good job making adjustments on the fly. But
yeah, here he is with that, shorter reach, and he's doing a good job getting to the body of Postol.
It's frustrating him a little bit because Postol, like you said, can't get inside.
And his jab, which is, everybody talks about, is, it's there. Oh. Tony, that was one of those times the guy turned his back on him, and you shouldn't, and Crawford was just he's not a dirty fighter at all by any way, shape, or manner. And Postol turned his back on him, and Crawford was in the position of throwing the punch. A little exchange, Crawford 6 and 9 out, walked into a right hand.
Yeah, Postol starting to get in punching range here.
Landed more punches in this round than any other round. But Crawford dictated it. With the exception of that last 20 seconds, it was a Crawford round. Now let's see if he can execute it. Nothing wrong with Freddie's instructions, but it's like Rich was saying, you know, it'd be better if he cut him off. Yeah, it would be. Try to do it. Try to land that jab, which he's so famous for.
Well, I think he wants him to at least throw it out there with some bad intentions instead of throwing a lazy jab.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, you know, you pointed out, Rich, too, he's the typical old-style Eastern European fighter with the hands real high and kind of almost a jab up in the air like that. Instead of snapping it out was what Freddie wants. So he's pawing with it. He's not really committed to it, but he can get committed in a hurry with it. And the other factor is that I think there is a bit of frustration because Crawford is just so quick on his feet moving around.
I like to see Terence still try to find a way to throw more combinations, get inside a little bit. I know it's hard with that high guard you're talking about and how he kind of paused that jab hand out there, but no, I haven't really seen many body shots yet from Crawford, and I like to see him try to get inside more. Oh, there's a good lift.
Pretty good counter punch there too that Crawford got hit by.
Yep. That right hand counter by Postol.
And Crawford's turned it up a notch now, as he did get clipped by a shot by Postol.
Crowd standing. They're sensing something.
Well, there's going to be more flurries like this throughout the course of this fight. Neither one of these guys are going easy.
Oh.
Everything that Crawford does, the crowd kind of goes nuts because there's about 2 or 3 sections that are strictly Omaha people, and you can hear them cheering. There's the long looping in. Every time Crawford does something well, the crowd either comes to its feet or gets real excited.
Thing is, Terence is starting to take some chances now. He's picking up his own offense now. By doing that, of course, too, he does court some danger because it does give a possibility of Postol's counters or of Terence actually running into something.
Well, at the outset, I mentioned that Terence notoriously starts slow, but he's in second gear right now. And if you're going to go full offense, and you're going to take a chance of getting clipped too, and that's what's happened in this round a couple of times. But with 40 seconds to go, Postol hasn't won the round. (28, 27, 26 seconds to go in the 4th round. Only been one really good flurry in the fight so far. Great foot movement by Terence Crawford, getting in position to fight. His counter punches here. Postol still not getting that jab on him too much. Left hand gets through. So Postol had the one good left, and Crawford had about 3 different punches that he landed throughout the course. So
Postol there through the left jab and then that right uppercut. Look at Postol's face. Look at, oh, I got you.
Looked like it was him that got by Crawford right there.
Now Crawford is fighting a very smart fight so far.
Manos de Piedras. Roberto Duran, one of the greatest lightweight fighters of all time, went on and moved up. But as a lightweight, he might be the greatest lightweight that ever lived.
He's number 1 on my list.
He's definitely number 1 on my list. He has fun with him at the Hall of Fame ceremonies a couple of weeks ago, and he just enjoys himself. That's going to be scored as a knockdown because his knee touched. And Postol is really annoyed with that. But Tony's right. If anything but the bottom of your soles of your feet touch the canvas, it's a knockdown. It's unfortunate because it's going to cost him a couple of points unless he can pull this round out and keep it to 1.
Yeah,
Terence grabbing him up to. This could turn out to be a big round for Crawford, and he just barely his knee touched. But whoop. Crawford gives him the butterfly movement, and Tony says, keep it right. But Crawford is, you talk about the pay-per-view. Is he risen to the occasion or what? He loves this.
Yeah, he's having a good time in there now. You could see it when he started to crack that smile in the 3rd round.
It's like more charisma tonight than he showed all week. All these people talk about how he's not very talkative.
Wait a minute, more charisma than ever, Christina.
Yeah. But I mean, he'll come out of that as he matures and develops and gets more and more confident in his abilities. that side of him will come out.
Wait, people say, you know what? That he doesn't talk a lot of trash.
Oh, what a great counterpunch. He touches the canvas again.
Yep.
That's another knockdown. And Tony right on it. His gloves definitely hit the canvas. So his knee went down once.
2 flash knockdowns.
Wow.
But that was a beautiful left that started it all. Don't be misled. I mean, there was a real good shot that got it all going.
It was so fast. I need to see the replay on that.
You people might think that that's picayune by the referee, but that's not his call. His proper call is anything but the soles of your feet touch the canvas. It is a knockdown.
Doesn't matter how quickly you get up.
Or the fact it was just your hands or just your knee. So this is a huge round for Crawford now.
If the judges choose to score at 10-7, which they normally would with a 2 knockdown round, but keep in mind the fact that those were both very much flash knockdowns where only his glove really touched the canvas.
2 knockdowns in the judging clinics that I've been to, it's a 10-7 round. But we'll see if the judges follow that, because you don't know. I haven't seen Guido Cavalieri in any of them. I've seen Dave Moretti and Don Trella. So 2 slight knockdowns with a knee touched and then the hands touched. All in favor of Terence Crawford. 15 seconds to go in the round, and what has turned out to be what can be a huge round. Postol caught him with the right hand, and Crawford's back with 2 of his own right hands. Crawford pulls him in by the head and blasts him with the left hand, trying to get his hands free.
Yeah, Postol wants him to fight.
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
This came right at the bell. He comes out, little right to the top of the head. He just cuffed him with it. Knee barely touches, but there was. So are you
he caught his toe on the canvas is what happened.
Now the second knockdown, there was a real punch here.
Counter.
See that left? See that left? Now that gets him going. He goes across just the bare touch of a glove. The first knockdown was just a little cuffing shot, but the second one, that's a real. There's going to be a real punch. You saw it. That left hand. Gloves go to the ground. Second knock. Now, I think that Tony Weeks made the right call on each. That each one was definitely a knockdown. If I was scoring personally, I would not score that at 10-7 round. I would score at 10-8.
And so that's good, because I would score at 10-7, and I expect that's what some of the judges will do, Rich. So that's why we get 3 people calling this fight. And we don't disagree with much. But I see your point, too, because they weren't big knockdowns. But according to the rule, Tony Weeks right on top of it, because there's a lot of referees that wouldn't realize that as quick as he did and wouldn't have counted.
Well,
maybe
Terence,
for either one.
And Terence tried to help him out in the first one. He pointed like his hand went down. Don't miss that.
So Crawford, with all that said and done, if it's a 10-7 round, it's a 50-43 in my score sheet with 5 in the books. This is round 6. Hard shot by Postol, one of his better punches of the fight, but gobbled right up by Terence.
Some of those early rounds were hard to score, but I feel like these last 2 rounds, Terence has really come on. And even if he's taken a shot, he's given a couple back. Let's see if he keeps up that pace.
I thought he felt that right hand though by Postol that landed earlier in this round. He's a little more wary right here.
This is round 6. A little bit more cautious. Crawford wide-eyed. He's got the mouth open. He's still hot dogging it a bit, like he's enjoying it.
Postol just has not hit him enough to slow him down at all.
This is one of those slick things again. He feinted in with the left shoulder like he was going to throw a right hand, and then all of a sudden he lets the left hand go. One of the slick movements to the body of the Iceman. He's going to have to really turn it up a notch to crawl back into this thing.
And try to cut off the ring, because that's when he's been able to catch him a couple times.
And he gets him in the corner, but he's so quick even when he catches up with him. Slick movement there. Pull that left shoulder back and cracked him with the right hand. And those are the slick things he does.
And that has power, too.
Yeah. And then as he gets to the inside, he pulls him right into him so Postol can't retaliate. I mean, this is really ring generalship by Crawford. And the way he'll throw out the left hand and then he'll skip to one side and then quickly around the other way. These are the slight little things that Rich was talking about. And Postol's inability to land the jab with any real effectiveness is the difference in this fight. Postol is frustrated now.
Yeah.
Finally, he just puts his hand. No, I mean, what he's doing is perfect. He's not running, he's fighting. And when it's time to exchange, it seems like it's always Crawford getting off first. And as I say that, of course, Postol does it first. Very interesting. Big difference in the scoring in this fight is that if, in fact, the judges gave it a 10-7 round in the fifth, and if possibly anybody could have scored a couple of the rounds, the first couple rounds that were fairly close, not much between them at all, that they might have given the other way. That isn't the way I see it. I get Crawford on the shutout right now.
I think you're right on that, Colonel. I don't see how you could have given Postol a round. Yeah, maybe one. There was a
possibly.
Yeah, I think around the third round, I thought he did pretty well.
And while I've done several world title fights that Guido Cavalieri from Italy has scored, as I recall, he's a very, very good judge.
I think a change in strategy has to come from Postol. I think he's got to go reckless, and I think he's got to try to rough up Crawford if he can. Make it more of a mauling fight. Forget about boxing.
But look at that. He thinks he's got him backed off in the corner. All of a sudden, his legs split. You don't know whether he's going to keep sliding to his right. In that case, he went around to his right when he get backed off into the corner. So, I mean, these are the things that Crawford is the ring general. Then he comes in, lunges. The Iceman bends over. He gets hit in the side of the head. See, that's that move, and it's frustrating Postol. Crawford puts his hands up the eye. I'm an innocent little lad. He blasts the body. He's tough, too. You know, there's a lot of street.
And I'm liking the game plan that Brian Bomac McIntyre has put together. I think they're doing a great job. They're doing what they need to do to win these rounds. I mean, much has been said about, Freddie Roach in the other corner, but you got to give Team Crawford some credit in their preparation. They're frustrating Postol.
Viktor has a reach advantage in this fight in terms of inches, and with his normally effective left jab, you would think that would really be a big part of the fight, but Crawford has completely taken the jab away from him.
And that's with the movement. And he doesn't just go to his right and commit to his right. He'll take a couple of bounces to his right and then boom, right back the other way. Or he'll step with his left foot behind him. Then he'll plant like he just did then. Let off the punches. There's no way you can give the Iceman that round. See, try to do things. Look at this. Look at this, Rich. Boom.
That's just great work. I mean, what can you say? That's just brilliant fighting.
Oh.
He was leaning back, and then Postol lures Postol into leaning forward.
Oh.
You get clipped again.
It was almost one of those flash knockdowns. His glove barely stayed off the canvas.
You better start before the bell rings if you fight Terence Crawford.
And on top of that, not only can he not land the jab, Crawford has him totally frustrated.
Crawford burst out.
You
laughing.
go, I go. One of you has to throw.
But that's very frustrating for the guy that's already had a couple of knockdowns scored that he probably doesn't believe either one of them should have been scored against him.
I don't know how he could do it, but Postol, I think, has just got to rush Crawford.
Absolutely,
Rich. Throw him into the corner, maul him if he can.
Anything to try to mug him.
Do
There's
something
else
illegal. Yeah, throw it off balance. He's got to change the the paradigm that we're witnessing evolve here.
Now Freddie asked him to throw some hard right hands to try to catch up with this guy. Look at this jab up in the air like this. Again, the typical Eastern European jab. But that's not the jab that Postol's known for. It's not the jab we saw him against Lucas Matisse.
Especially when it's a foot short of the target.
And Crawford, meanwhile, is just trying to figure out where he can attack. That hand goes up in the air. He'll come downstairs with the body just like that.
Yep.
Oh, cracked him with a hard left hand. Off balance again.
And that's why Postol doesn't want to throw first.
When Postol gets hit, he goes off balance. It doesn't look like he's staggered, Rich, but you know, he really goes off balance with that left hand. There it is again, and he falls away from it.
Yeah, and so he is affected by the punch.
Absolutely, he's affected by it. Let's see what Terence did. The uppercut, left hand. I mean, you just don't know from whence he's coming, this guy. This is a brilliant, brilliant boxing. He wanted to showcase himself on pay-per-view. So far, so good. For Terence Crawford. Now he's got him in a corner, but he waited too long. Get him in the corner, you better snap the trap, because Crawford won't be there. And if he's going to be there, he's going to be firing. In that time, spins around and he knows how to tie this guy up. The guy can't do anything with it. Postol now, it looks like he's got a little adrenaline flow right now. He lands a right hand, but it's partially blocked on the gloves. He didn't really catch his chin.
No, but that was a pretty good punch.
Yeah.
It wasn't too far off the mark. He needs a little more of that.
Well, that's what Freddie wants him to try to land, but again, easier said than done. They were a little slit by that left eye. You can't tell if Postol's left eye might have, I guess not.
This is what happened earlier there. It was kind of humorous. That, come on, hit me. I'll throw. No, you throw. Come on. Gotcha. But then later on in the round, as you can see, that was actually behind the head. He cuffed him behind the head. I'm going to give him that third round.
All right.
For the benefit of international relations.
But you wouldn't be wrong, and I wouldn't disagree with it. And those first 4 rounds were very close, and there wasn't a lot between the two of them.
Even the first one was kind of tough.
Yeah. So if you gave a couple of those rounds to Postol, it's insignificant at this stage. And I wouldn't find any fault with giving a couple of the first 4 rounds to Postol. It's just not the way I scored. I hate to say this, Rich, but I've scored more fights than all 3 of the official judges combined. But yeah, the official judges.
Their scores matter.
Exactly.
Now the fans are a little frustrated here.
Yeah, this is not the type of action that we expected in this fight, but we didn't expect that Crawford would be so dominant in this fight. Picking his shots, but his defense has, been sensational in this fight. We're in the 9th round, mostly Crawford, but Crawford not doing much in the 9th round whatsoever, except continuing to move and frustrating our friend from the Ukraine.
Well, and after watching 8 rounds and going to the 9th now, this is the 1 versus 2. It seems like Terence Crawford is just widening the gap about how close Postol is in that number 2 spot.
And that time the legs did start to go at Postol.
2-punch combination, and that hurt him.
His hands have come down. His legs aren't there right now. He's fighting on heart, and he finally has to tie up Crawford. Crawford knows how to get rid of him, and it throws him off. There's plenty of time still in this round. But that flurry was a hard flurry, and it did shake the legs of Postol. Crawford looking to land something heavy right now. Postol, where's the jab that was supposed to be so effective?
You know, Bud really he's serious. I mean, you take a look at him. He's dominating the fight, but you can see he has a healthy respect still for Postol.
Sure.
Yeah, well, this guy's a very, very good fighter that he's in there with. Just everything has gone Crawford's way in this fight. Some by design and a couple of, strange sort of knockdowns.
Freddie talked about just breaking down Terence Crawford round after round and taking his will, but if that was the game plan, it's not going that way. It's
not at all.
There's been not enough punches thrown to break down his will.
But even if we change that to a 2-point difference and you gave him a couple of the first 4 rounds, Crawford has definitely done everything from 6, 7, 8, 9. Plus he won the 5th round by at least 2 points, so this isn't a close fight. But that doesn't mean Postol can't catch him. It's not likely right now the way Crawford is. I mean, they're both in magnificent shape. Look at the bodies of these two men. Postol's got to be frustrated by Crawford. And it's not only the foot speed, but the hand speed has been significant too.
And with the championship rounds now, this 10, 11, and 12 here, both of these guys being world champions, we knew this would be a fight of adjustments, and it just looks like Postol, I don't know if he's just not listening to what Freddie's saying or he's just not able to make them, but that plan B has never come out.
Well, he had the plan B where he wanted a lot more right hands. He tried to throw him and he gets counterpunched by Crawford. I mean, he came in with the idea of trying to land jabs. This time he doesn't do it. He stays there and bends over and makes him go over his shoulder.
And usually by this time in a fight, Postol is beating down and breaking down his opponents. But he hasn't landed enough punches. Really, I mean, Terence Crawford looks like he could fight 20 rounds tonight. 25 rounds right at this pace. He's not getting hit enough for it to matter.
He's hardly getting hit at all. Even then, with that double jab that he threw, you saw the perspiration and the water fly off the head of Postol. You don't see that. Again, the jab is short, and another hard left hand. And remember, Crawford has fought this entire fight as a southpaw, except the first, probably minute of the first round. Look at that. There's a straight left right down the middle on the right-handed fighter. The right hook, the straight left jab again. All these are, these are fairly heavy punches, showing the conditioning of Postol, but the frustration that he can't get to this guy at all. With 54, 53, 52 seconds left in the 10th round. Again, he goes to throw the jab, and how quick Crawford is, he slides around that time to his right and bops him with the right hand as he goes. He didn't just move around to get away, so therefore I don't see him as running.
Question is he doing enough that would stamp him as...
Go ahead, Rich, with that thought.
As somebody to fight Manny Pacquiao in November.
Well, that's supposed to be one of the gifts. That's another. Can Pacquiao come up with another sensational fight like he did against Timothy Bradley? Look at this.
And he does a nice job, Terence, of being able to back off, lure a guy forward toward him, and then quickly catch him coming in.
I mean, the way he's moving, and you picture Manny trying to catch up with him, and Manny moves very well. He's very quick on his feet, too, but let's finish this one first. We're in the 11th round. The Colonel Bob Sheridan here, Rich Murata, Christina Poncher, our principals, 2 champions. One is going to lose his title tonight, and right now it looks like Terence Crawford is going to pick that up right now in the 11th round. It's been all Crawford on my score sheet. Nobody has really been seriously shaken in the fight. Postol was down twice, but again, it was just a knee touched the canvas, and when he kind of dragged his toe, he went down. The second one was more definitive, but only his gloves touched the canvas. But Tony Weeks did exactly the right thing under the rules of the Marquess of Queensberry.
And this has to say a lot about Terence Crawford. If this was a 50-50 fight, and this was 1 versus 2, and the very best 2 at 140, which everybody believes that it was, and he's beating him handedly round after round, how good is Terence Crawford?
Well,
or is Postol not as good as we thought he was?
He's looking like a 5-1 favorite, which is what he was.
Postol,
he's fighting like it.
28-0. He's a good fighter, and we saw him against Batiste, who was an excellent fighter, and he handled him. But he just hasn't been able to do anything with Terence Crawford. Crawford still, that's a slick punch every time. That supposedly great jab, and it has been a great jab up until tonight. As that hand comes down now, the right hand of Crawford is over it. It's so much quicker than Postol, who holds it way up there, and then he drops it just a bit. And as Terence moves to his right, he's able to score at will with the right hand.
He just lures you in on him, and he gets you to stick your chin out.
Oh, and he's in the zone. He's in the zone right now.
I mean, don't forget, his right hand is his jabbing hand, but I mean, this guy, for all practical purposes, can fight as a right-handed fighter too, so he's got plenty of power in his right hand. This is what makes him so good. And there, he bends down, he grabs, he starts talking in his ear. Totally frustrating this guy. Postol is a very frustrated fight. That time, one of the few times you see the uppercut. And you're coming in. How frustrated are you going to be, Rich, when you don't know, man, every time I try to do something, nothing works. He reaches that time with his right hand. Freddie asked him to throw more right hands back 4 or 5 rounds ago, but nothing successful.
I really thought that tonight that Crawford would have some uncomfortable moments.
He hasn't had many uncomfortable moments in this one. He get clipped by a decent right hand.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful when he turns his back because now time has been called out. He's going to take a point away for hitting in the back of the head, and he should. It's a very, very dangerous thing. It's academic anyway. So this is going to turn out to be another 10-8 round. And this is the 12th and final round. The only way Postol can win this, Postol needs a knockout.
They came
He's
right
going for it.
Yeah, he landed left and a right.
And he's furious about the point going away, and so is Freddie in the corner. I understand, but you got to follow the rules all the way. You can see an adrenaline flow for Postol because Freddie had told him, you got to knock this guy out now.
Maybe too little, too late.
Yeah, but he should have fought at this pace.
Exactly.
Before this. You leave yourself 1 round to get it done.
But see, he's kind of waltzes into his guy, and here he is. Postol's going for knock, and Crawford knows how to get out of there. Postol's just got his ears back, and this is going to be a brawl to the end now. And this is what we expected a lot more of. But even then, when he comes in, he gets bopped by that right hand of Crawford. Crawford moves, he feints him, he gets the guy to jump.
Yeah, but so much in his arsenal.
Sorry, Rich.
But so what if you're Postol? Take some chances. Go in there, rush in. If you get hit, you get hit. You get hit anyway.
Oh, I agree with you 100%.
Take your shot.
Do anything you can do. Hit him behind the head again. Take the loss of the point. You got to try and knock this guy out. Nothing that he's done to this point in the fight has worked, and the only thing that can work is a knockout. We've had strange knockouts in the final round. Remember Michael Moore winning every second of his fight against George Foreman?
And Chavez Jr. almost pulled it off against Sergio Martinez when he lost every round practically.
And Chavez Sr., he had a very controversial win when Richard Steele stopped the fight. Although to this day, if you see Meldrick Taylor, we know that was right. Postol is into this thing now. He caught Crawford with a good right hand, but he's backing off. There's only about a minute to go in this fight.
Now Crawford's saying, come on, I'll fight you. So fight him.
Crawford doesn't have to do this. Oh, he hit him right to the button with a hard shot on the inside with that right hand. Now Crawford wants to make a point right now. This is the type of fight we thought we'd see all along.
By doing
Crawford saying, no, you can't do anything with me. Sticks the tongue out. How frustrated is Postol? A good fighter. And Crawford has just made him look almost hapless tonight.
Well, some people won't like that very much and what he's doing.
That's all right.
He's won almost every round of this fight, and rightfully so. Took away everything that Postol had going for him.
Postol clipped him, and he was trying to make a point. Great movement by Crawford. 14, 13, 12. Inside of 10 seconds to go now in the fight. This has been a brilliant fight for Crawford, no matter what anybody says. This is a brilliant fight. He nails him, almost dropped him. And that's it, it's all over. Look at the smile on his face. You said almost every round, Christina. I got to win in every round.
All right, let's take a look at it. Last round action. There's that left that he caught Postol with.
Almost dropped him, Rich.
Near the end of the round. It was a good shot. Really was more of a jab.
It was a jab, but did you see his legs buckle? Wow, look at this stuff.
You know, he opened up a little in the first minute of the round.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the MGM Grand of Las Vegas, we go to the scorecards. Guido Cavallari and Don Trolla both scored at 118-107. Dave Moretti 117-108. All to the winner by unanimous decision. And now both WBC, WBO light welterweight champion of the world, the fighting pride of Omaha, Nebraska, Terence Crawford.
So with those scores, a unanimous decision victory for Bud Crawford. Two of the judges had a 118-107 in comparison to my score sheet.